softball field for a non-conference doubleheader between the visiting Salem State University Vikings and your UMass Boston Beacons. My name is Seth Orensky, and I'll be along for the ride for the next 4 hours as the Beacons and Vikings each look for their 18th and possibly 19th wins on the year. First time these two teams have played since 2014. It's the last couple of years they have been rained out, and rain was in the forecast for this one before the rain pushed itself to a couple hours before today's game and a couple hours afterwards. So we'll take a look at our pregame show and start out with three things to know. UMass Boston's looking to stay hot out of conference. They're just 4-4 in conference play after being picked number 1 overall, but they've been very good out of conference, especially here in New England at 11-2. Salem State, well, they've got a bunch of thieves on their team. 3.04 steals per game, 85 of 96 on the season. Jen Crovo, 24 of 25 on the year. Marissa Sanchez, 20 of 21. 4 players with 10 or more steals on the season. Kira Pressmack, 10 for 11 over her last 3 games, 7 of 8 the other day against Keene State, including the game-winning RBI. Pressmack out of Houston, Texas, a freshman, will lead off for UMass Boston. The Beacons have a bit of a different looking lineup today with a couple of starters out due to some injuries they picked up against Keene State. We'll move along and take a look at the all-time series for these two teams. Salem State leads 35-8. Beacons have dropped 2 in a row in 3 of the last 5. The last time these two teams met, Salem State earned a sweep in Salem, 3-2, 7-1. Gia Raczowski, the lone Beacon, have a great day at the plate. Kristen McKenzie, the catcher in Game 1 for Salem State, 3 for 4 with 2 RBI in that 3-2 win. Take a look at today's player to watch. We've already talked a bit about her, the freshman out of Houston, Texas, Kira Pressmack. You look at some of those numbers, .458 batting average, second on the team, tied for first in the LEC with her 8 steals in 9 stolen base attempts. So she's tied for first in the entire LEC. That would put her 5th on Salem State. Just shows a bit of the difference in terms of coaching strategy. She leads the LEC with her .680 batting average, 17 for 25. And here at home, .691 with 4 runs and an RBI. Right now, we'll bring you back out to the camera and take a look at the Beacons starting lineup as they're being announced right now by UMass Boston SID David Wahlberg. The Beacons come into this one with a very strong record of 17-8. On the other side, Salem State's had a bit of their struggles as of late, splitting with Gordon the other day, getting swept by UMass Dartmouth last week. They do have a pretty strong record, though, at 17-11 after a 13-5 start. So we'll get you the starting lineups and the first pitch here from Beaconville in just a moment on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Welcome back. The national anthem is over, and we're about to get underway. As you see the Beacons right-handed pitcher out of Rocky Hill, Connecticut, Jess Greenspan, begin to warm up. Greenspan has been phenomenal this year, especially considering the Beacons' other two pitchers have both suffered some shoulder injuries. Greenspan on the year out of Rocky Hill, Connecticut, making her 22nd appearance, 17th start, 13-6 tops in the conference, 119 innings pitched, also first, 2.19 ERA, 6th in the LEC, leads the LEC with her 80 strikeouts in 14 complete games, has walked just 28, 132 hits, most in the conference by a fair amount. She pitches to contact, 56 runs, 39 earned, an opponent's batting average of 281. The other day against Keene State, pitched all 9 innings in Game 1, a 4-3 loss, and then got the win in Game 2 by pitching the 6th inning in a 6-3 victory. Went 10 full innings, 11 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 6 Ks, and a walk. She'll face off against a Salem State lineup that goes the following. Jen Crovo, the second-team All-Conference second baseman, followed by Marissa Sanchez, another second-team All-Conference player, and her middle infield partner. Chloe Manusis is out in right field. Sam Holy's the cleanup hitter, hitting third. Jess Raymond, a first-team All-Conference pick, plays center and hits fifth. Molly McLean's the DP as the bunt is popped up, and making the catch is Greenberg to retire the very speedy Crovo, who, as I mentioned, came in 24 of 25 on the season. Pops it up to the pitcher. With the bunt, it'll bring up Marissa Sanchez. Ivy Bonaldi, the catcher, hits seventh. Dominique Del Vecchio, the team's third pitcher and first baseman, hits eighth. And April Adams is out there in left field hitting ninth against Greenspan, who has thrown 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and has gotten 1 out in the early going. Sanchez, a second-team All-Conference player last year, but was a first-team All-Conference player as a freshman in the MASCAC Rookie of the Year back in 2015. She comes in 20 of 21 on the base pass this season. As it's 1-1 to Sanchez, shows bunt. Greenspan fields, throw over it is not in time, and Morse couldn't make the catch. Good backup coming from Pressmack, and it's an infield single. Sanchez likely was going to beat that one out either way. A ton of speed. This team attempted 65 stolen bases a year ago. They've already gone up to 95, and it's clearly an emphasis on being aggressive and trying to force the defense a little bit as that pitch is outside. No movement on the first pitch from Sanchez, who was caught stealing last week by UMass Dartmouth, snapping a 17 of 17 streak to start the year. Brings up Chloe Manusis, right fielder and 3-hole hitter. Outside once again. Sanchez bounces but does not go. Manusis, a sophomore out of Lowell, Mass. Second-team All-Conference player as a freshman. She started every game this year, one of 3 players on the team. 5 doubles, 3 triples, and a homer. Swings and hits that one out to shallow right field. Coming in on it is Pressmack, and she'll make the play for the second out of the inning. Throws down to first, but Sanchez was already on the bag. And there's 2 down here in the top of the first for the cleanup hitter, Sam Holy. Sam, a third baseman out of Lynn, Mass, listed as a utility player.
Sam Holy.
Played at Fitchburg State a year ago, made 17 appearances, limited to just 21 at-bats. This season, she's making her 25th appearance, 21st start. Swings and misses at the first pitch. 0-1. She's had 7 doubles, good for tied for first on the team, and she's 6 for her last 18, including a solo shot yesterday against Gordon. On the outside corner, 0-2. Yet to see Sanchez fully go. See if she takes off here with 2 strikes and 2 outs as she asks for the call from her head coach, Leanne Doviak. Takes off the throw down in plenty of time, and not even a slide from Sanchez. 2-6 caught stealing. Gia Raczowski shows off the gun from behind the plate. And it's a quick half inning for Salem State. We'll bring you the Beacons lineup and the starting pitcher for Salem State after this audio break. take a look at the Salem State University starter. It's Eilish Birney, team's ace. Birney on the year has pitched extremely well. Team low 2.58 ERA, 6-5, making her 18th appearance, 13th start, 9 complete games, 83 and 2/3 innings, 96 hits, 49 runs, 24 earned. Team high 32 strikeouts and 21 walks. Opponents hitting .274 against the Bristol, Connecticut native, home of ESPN. And she's the only pitcher and only player on the team who's not from the state of Massachusetts. Salem State, just like UMass Boston, a state institution within the Bay State, not part of the UMass system. So it'll be Kira Pressmack, the Beacon's fastest player, takes the first pitch and fouls it back to the stop. She has been red hot. She's had at least 3 hits in each of her past 3 games, 10 for her last 11, and has hit over 600 here at the UMB softball field. Comes in hitting .458 and takes that pitch just off the corner for ball 1. 1-1 to the Beacons' leadoff hitter and right fielder. Today's home plate umpire, Amy Gattani. Sherman Rotting on the bases for game number 1. It's the 1-1 pitch from Birney. That one's popped up. Will get out of play. And that one just misses the truck that's taking some equipment out of the Beacons Clark Athletics Center from behind us, and that is not a great spot to be hanging out. Just about 10 feet behind the backstop. 1-2 now to Pressmack, to be followed by Caitlin Morse, the Beacons senior captain and second baseman. Roxanne Vento gets the start in the DP spot, hitting third. Pressmack swings and misses, and they're going to say that the catcher made the play behind the plate, not allowing Pressmack to try to run down. Still trying to get my lineup set. That's Ivy Benaldi behind the plate. In the cleanup spot will be the Beacons catcher, Gia Raczowski. Alyssa Tully, the third baseman, hits 5th. Lauren Mitziaris is over at first base, hitting 6th. Kayla Harris gets the start with Ari Bellata unavailable. She hits 7th and plays left. Giovanna Bonilla gets the start with Taylor Paulina, a bit banged up. She's hitting 8th and playing center. And Gigi Braga, the Beacons freshman shortstop, hits 9th. Morse fouls the first pitch back, and it's 0-1 to the Beacon senior captain out of Arlington. Oh, 1 pitch, breaking ball, line down the line, and that one is a fair ball. Morse is going to take off for second, and she's in there standing up. A 1-out double from Caitlin Morse, and the Beacons have their first base runner of the day with just 1 out. And she's on in front of the Beacons' top 2 run producers.
The catcher, number 9, Vento.
Roxanne Vento, who leads the conference with their .474 batting average, as she chops it softly back to the second baseman. Krovo's only play is to first, and moves Morse up to third, but there's now 2 down in the inning after the 4-3 ground out from Vento. Brings up Gia Raczowski, the top slugger in program history, tied for the program record in doubles and home runs, looking to break out of a little bit of a slump when it comes to a lack of extra base hits as of late. Gia out of Stoneham, Mass., the catcher in this one, also plays right field when she's not catching. She's had 1 extra base hit in her last 9 games, a double against UMass Dartmouth, and a big conference sweep over the weekend. Chance to get an RBI here, but she pops it up. Going back on as the second baseman. Center fielder coming in, it's going to drop. The second baseman, Krovo, lost it, and the center fielder, a great effort, but unable to get there in time. Coming in on that particular play was Jess Raymond, and the Beacons lead 1-0. We'll bring up Alyssa Tully. Beacons now leading 1-0 here in the bottom of the first with 2 down. First pitch to Tully off the corner. The Beacons don't steal nearly as much as Salem State, but Raczowski is certainly capable of swiping a bag. Good speed. 1-0 to Tully as she swings at the first pitch, bounces it back, bobbled there by the pitcher, and then a great diving effort from the first baseman going into a split to get Tully. But the Beacons get 1 run on 2 hits. It's 1-0 after 1.
The Vikings, third baseman number 8, Sam Holy.
Sam Holy, who was at the plate to end the top of the first, steps up for the second time, her first official plate appearance. She had a runner on first with an 0-2 count when Marissa Sanchez took off and was out by several steps on a tremendous throw from Gia Raczowski. Just the second time that Sanchez has been thrown out this season, now 20 of 22. There's 2 players on this team who have stolen over 20 bags. Both of them came in with only 1 caught stealing. Pushes the Vikings now on the year to 85 of 97. They're a team that steals well over 80% of the bags they attempt. Popped up. Holy runs into Mitsiaris, who still makes the catch. And there might have been an interference call that time if Mitsiaris had been unable to make the play. Either way, it'll go as a pop out to first base. And there's
14,
no one on for Jess Raymond, the first team all-conference, lone all-conference player on the first team year ago for Salem State. So Raymond had a tremendous season a year ago. Takes the first pitch just inside. Raczowski tried to frame it. Jess, a senior out of Peabody, Mass. Led the team last season in average at 402. Stolen bases 12 of 15. RBI with 24. And tied for the team lead with her 18-run score. Takes another pitch. And it's 2-0. She struggled comparatively to a year ago. She hits just .314, nearly 100 points lower. That one's popped up. Chasing after it, Tully and Raczowski, but it bounces just inside the Salem State dugout to move the count to 2-1. Raymond to be followed by Molly McLean, the designated player and 6-hole hitter, as Greenspan has faced the minimum thus far because of the caught stealing. It's allowed just 1 hit, a bunt single, and that one's going to be a diving effort by Pressmack, and she makes the play. Holy cow, what a play from the freshman. When you hit well, you do everything a little bit better, and that's a great diving effort. You'll see that in the highlights later on beaconsathletics.com.
The designated player number 4, Molly McLean.
Tremendous diving effort in shallow right center from Pressmack, who covered a ton of ground. So 2 outs for Molly McLean. Takes the first pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. Molly, a junior out of Woburn, attended Arlington Catholic High School. She's having a career year offensively. The 0-1 to her is popped up, and we'll talk more about it the next time she's up. A quick 1-2-3 inning. All 3 balls popped up in the air. All 3 balls caught on the right side. 1-2-3 for Salem State in the top of the second. We head to the bottom of the second. It'll be 6-7-8 for the Beacons. Mitziaris, Harris, and Bonilla looking to add to this 1-0 lead. UMass Boston already with the 1-0 lead will bring up the first baseman, Lauren Mitziaris, the left fielder, Kayla Harris, and the center fielder, Giovanna Bonilla. The Beacons playing players who normally wouldn't get the starts in left and center today. Ari Bellata suffered, looked like a hamstring injury at third base going around the bag against Keene. They're keeping her out for precautionary reasons. And Taylor Paulina, who came out in Game 1 against Keene State on Tuesday after it looking like she turned her ankle in the outfield, will take the first game off as well, potentially the day. So the Beacons get ready for Rhode Island College on Saturday. Beacons haven't been playing many non-conference games, just one in their last 9, as it was a 3-0 loss to Babson here at home. Mitziaris fouls off the second pitch she sees, 1-1 to the senior out of Taunton. Making her 25th start in 26 games, a .310 average, .338 on base percentage, and .423 slugging percentage. 1-1 is hit hard off the glove of the third baseman, and Mitziaris has a leadoff single, the Beacons' third hit of the day. Absolutely ripped off the glove of Holy. See if the Beacons play a little bit of small ball here. Kayla Harris making just her second start of the year out of Cumberland, Maine. Junior immediately shows bunt. Mitziaris doesn't have great speed at first base. See if she pulls it back. She's going to hold it out there and bunts it foul. So the Beacons at least looking with that first pitch to get a runner in scoring position with just the 1 out. Harris in limited at-bats this year, 3 for 8, 4 runs scored, 2 RBI, and a double. Primarily used as a pinch runner. Making her second start, also started at Bridgewater State. 0-1 pitch, a better bunt. Third baseman Adams fields. The throw over is over the head of the second baseman. This is going to advance both runners, and it's going to be second and third after the two-base error by the third baseman. Sam Holy overthrowing the that's actually the first baseman, Dominique Del Vecchio. Salem State doesn't list the heights on their players, but Del Vecchio is pretty short for a first baseman, and she watched that one go over her head. Couldn't really get there. Giovanna Bonilla takes a first pitch strike. The Beacons starting left fielder to begin the year. Struggled offensively, just her 10th start. She plays very good defensive softball. 2 for 27 on the year, looking for a big third hit on the year. She takes that pitch inside 1-1. Beacons had a leadoff single off the glove of Holy, a ball that was absolutely ripped, and then Holy's throwing error on the sacrifice bunt put both runners in scoring position with no outs. Swings through that one, got a piece, and it gets back behind the catcher, Ivy Benaldi. So Illish Burney desperately looking for the strikeout here. Has not thrown that many. As a staff, this team has thrown well under 100 strikeouts, close to 200 innings. 2 on, no outs. The Beacons already leading 1-0. 1-2 pitch, breaking ball, nice job to hold off, and Mitziaris takes off on the wild pitch. The throw ends up at second base. Harris is going to take off. Close play at the plate. Harris slides in safely. It's a 2-run wild pitch, and the Beacons lead 3-0 on the throwing error by the catcher. 2 errors in the inning, extremely costly. The Beacons have just 1 hit, and Bonilla's up there with a 2-2 count. So Harris, who was giving herself up with the sacrifice bunt, reaches on the throwing error, moves to second on the throwing error, takes third on the wild pitch, and comes home on the throwing error by the catcher. Not the strongest of starts defensively for Salem State. Could have been a scoreless top of the first, but miscommunication by Salem State and an inability to find a fly ball as that one gets away from the catcher, and Benaldi will throw out Bonilla on the strikeout swinging for the first out of the inning. But Salem State easily could have caught the high pop from Raczowski. Instead, the second baseman couldn't find it. Center fielder Jess Raymond couldn't quite get there, a running effort, and it led to Caitlin Morse scoring. So the Beacons already up 3-0 with just 1 out here in the second. Brings up Gigi Braga for the first time. Freshman shortstop takes a strike on a pitch that went in and out of the glove of Benaldi. 0-1 to the Medford, Mass native. Also an all-conference member of the Beacons women's soccer team. She plays midfield, occasionally forward. 0-1 to her. Bunts and pops that one up. Gigi has moved from second to first, and today she moves down to 9. She's in the midst of a little bit of a slump, 1 for her last 17, but had a huge hit the other day, led off the bottom of the 6th inning with the Beacons tied 3-3, led it off with an infield single, came in to score the Beacons' 4th run, and a huge win over Keene State. Earned the split with that one as she chops this one softly. Going to be a difficult play for Holy, doesn't even make the throw, and Braga went 0 for 16. She's now 2 for her last 2, and she's aboard with 1 now. Just like Pressmack, the batter who's about to step in, the Beacons using their speed to their advantage. Both of those players, lefty slappers, who just need a couple of bounces, maybe even just one high one, to reach. The Beacons' 4th hit of the game. They have 3 runs thanks to a pair of throwing errors from the Vikings. Pressmack with the runner taking off. The bunt goes foul. It was a good one. Just tailing towards the line. It looked like Holy was pretty upset there. She's had one of the 2 throwing errors. The catcher and the third baseman both have made errors in this inning, and right now I think the Beacons coaching staff aware of that, maybe trying to pick on those 2 players. Benaldi behind the plate, Holy over there at third, the Fitchburg State transfer, just trying to see if those 2 players can make a clean throw. 0-1 coming to Pressmack. She bunts it foul once again. Struck out swinging her first at bat, one of 2 strikeouts on the day for Ilish Birdie, who's pitched relatively well. She's given up just 2 hard hit balls. The double from Morse down the right field line with 1 out in the first, and then the single from Mitziaris off the glove of Holy. 0-2 here to Pressmack with Braga over at first and 1 down. 0-2 pitch, hits it over towards the shortstop. Difficult play. Sanchez goes the short way, not in time. And that one, I believe, should go as an infield single, as Pressmack was going to be safe over there at first base, regardless of the play. Sanchez tried to make the only play she could, but it's another infield single. The Beacons' 3rd of the inning. And now there's 2 on for Caitlin Morse, who ripped a double in her first at bat. Morse, 2nd in the conference with her 23 runs scored coming in. Tied the conference high with her first inning run. Hits it right at the third baseman, Raymond. Looking to turn 2. Goes back to the bag. Throw across. Bounces in there. And moving up to third base is Pressmack on another throwing error from Raymond. A great effort from Jess Raymond. And if her throw had been online, she might have gotten Morse. Instead, runners at the corners with 2 down. And the trail runner moves up to third base. Second error of the inning on Raymond, and 3rd of the frame on the Vikings. We'll see if Vento can make Salem State pay. Vento takes the first pitch outside, throw down the third, and Morse will take second
Designated player number 9,
with
Roxanne.
very little effort. So 2 runners in scoring position with 2 down. A 1-0 count to the Beacons' top hitter. 1-0 pitch. A little bit high there. It was a pretty good pitch, but Benaldi had to bring it down to try to frame it, and it's 2-0. Raczowski waits on deck, had an RBI single, her first at bat. Vento chopped it softly over to the second baseman. Vento hits another one towards the second baseman. Effort there from Krovo, goes off her glove, and it'll score 2. Waiting for the official score, and it's a 2-run single from Roxanne Vento. A difficult backhand effort from Krovo. Vento adds to her RBI total. Give Roxy 25 on the year. She's within 2 of the league lead. And the Beacons now lead 5-0 in the bottom of the second. And all of that was set up by the fact that the third baseman's throw got away from the first baseman. There should have been first and second with 2 down. Instead, both runners score because the runner moved up the third, and the defensive indifference allowing Morse to reach as Raczowski takes a strike down the middle. 0-1 to Gia, who hit a high pop-up that fell in very, very shallow center field, just at the edge of the grass, to score Morse in the first inning. Beacons have 4 singles in the inning, and 3 Vikings errors have led to 4 runs. Raczowski takes the pitch, bounces in there. Vento not much of a threat to steal at first base, as Roxanne continues her torrid stretch at home. She's now 12 of 20 with 8 RBI. Vento bounces off once again. Another low pitch, and Vento back there in time. 2-1 to the Beacons' senior catcher. This is by far the best start UMass Boston has had in a home game. The Beacons earned their first home win of the year in Tuesday's Game 2 against Keene State, snapping an 0-4 stretch. 1-1 pitch, popped up once again. This one should be an easy play for Sanchez. Camps under it and makes the play, but not before 4 Beacons score on 4 hits and 3 errors from the Vikings. 5-0 after 2. Head to the third. We'll see if the Vikings can get something going with 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup. Take a look ahead for UMass Boston. It's crazy how fast the season goes. Just 4 doubleheaders left on the schedule for the Beacons. Had a couple doubleheaders postponed, so they're under the 40 games limit. Could pick up games, but with their pitching staff still a bit banged up, probably just the 8 games left. At Rhode Island College on Saturday, at Southern Maine, 4 huge conference games going forward. Those games are on Tuesday, and then finish off the season at home. Framingham State, another team out of the MASCAC. Perfect 8-0 thus far on Thursday. And Western Connecticut State Senior Day next Saturday, as the Beacons will honor Mitziaris, Morse, and Raczowski, 3 4-year starters. Just waiting a little bit to get this half inning started. Greenspan hasn't thrown any warm-up pitches because the Beacons don't have a catcher out there. Raczowski finishing off the half inning. UMass Boston has 4 catchers on the roster, but Vento was also on the base pass. Jesse Tenaglia is not here today. Has some other student-athlete obligations. I'm not quite sure where Angelina Avatable is right now. But the Beacons lead 5-0 after 2. UMass Boston hasn't earned a Mercy Rule victory in a while. Beacons haven't done that since they won 15-1 in 5 innings against Bridgewater State back on the 30th of April.
Leading off for the Vikings, the catcher number 18, Ivy Benaldi.
With their 5 runs already, this is the second most runs UMass Boston has scored in a game here at home. The Beacons 1-4 as the first pitch is bunted back through Raczowski for strike 1 from Benaldi. But they're 2-5 overall as they played Plymouth State for 2 games here at the UMB softball field that were Plymouth State home games because the Panthers' home field wasn't available. the Beacons in the games played here at the UMB softball field. A 3-0 loss to Plymouth, a 4-3 win. Then lost back-to-back games to Eastern Connecticut State, 1-0 and 6-4. And then Tuesday lost 4-3 in 9 innings, scored 3 runs in the 6th, earned a 6-3 win in the 6th. So the 5 runs the second most. As that bunt goes foul as well. And it's quickly 1-2 to Minaldi, the catcher. Minaldi to be followed by Dominique Del Vecchio and April Adams. Minaldi, a freshman utility player out of Medfield, Mass., getting the start behind the plate. First team TVL All-Stars season ago. Takes it outside 2-2. She's an athletic training major. Ivy making her 18th appearance, 14th start, hitting .219 on the year, 7 of 32. 5 runs scored and 4 RBI. Hits it softly to Mitziaris. Fields 2 steps to the bag. And another quick out as Greenspan has still faced the minimum through the first 7 batters.
First baseman, number 7, Dominique Del Vecchio.
And that is the 4th consecutive batter who has hit it over to the right side. Mitziaris caught a pop-up to start the second and then easily fields the grounder over to first. Lauren is a tremendous fielder, a career .980 fielding percentage. 1 point ahead of a couple of former Beacons for first in program history, although the way Roxanne Vento's going, she might wrestle that away from Mitziaris by the time her career ends. 0-1 to Del Vecchio, who hits it softly off the end of the bat, and it's 0-2. Dominique, freshman out of Stoneham, Mass., an accounting major. She's making her 27th start, hitting just .204, 11 for 54. Takes her eyes ball high, able to lay off. 5 runs scored, 9 RBI, 1 double, 1 triple on the year. Hit a big 2-run triple yesterday, but she swings and misses there for Greenspan's first strikeout of the day. That triple in the Game 2 win over Gordon yesterday snapped an 0 for 24 stretch for the freshman. Bring up April Adams, the left fielder and 9-hole hitter, trying to get just the second base run of the day against Greenspan, who's worked efficiently thus far. Pitch is low and away, 1-0. April, a junior out of Burlington, Mass., attended Curry College her first 2 seasons. Team out of the Commonwealth Coast Conference. 1-0. That one is just off the corner. A lot closer, though. Adams, last season at Curry, started 37 of 38 games, a .369 average, .401 on base percentage, .423 slugging percentage, and team-high 32 runs scored. And she slaps that one over the head of Braga. Diving effort from Thomas. She claims she made the play. Rather, Harris, and they're going to say that it's an out. And that's the 3rd out of the inning. Well, love to see the replay on that one. Might have to wait till later today when we do the highlights, but diving effort from Harris out there in left, and the Beacons have 2 great diving plays by their corner outfielders. Salem State's retired 1-2-3 on the 3rd on a confusing play where neither umpire was quite positive, and they looked at each other and finally made the out signal. 5-0 headed to the bottom of the 3rd. The Beacons scored 1 in the 1st on 2 hits, 4 more in the 2nd. 8 of their 9 batters stepping up to the plate on 4 hits, all 4 singles, 3 errors, all throwing by Salem State, and left 1 on base. It'll be the 5-hole hitter, Alyssa Tully, who ended the 1st inning on a soft grounder back to the pitcher, Bernie, to step up, followed by Mitziaris and Kayla Harris, who made that great diving effort to close out the second. First pitch to Tully, and she pops up a pitch over her eyes, and she'll foul that one back, and it just misses a police car that was driving through. It's really ill-advised to drive through this area anytime during a game, and that trooper was very lucky to not have a softball go through his windshield. We've already seen that happen once this year here at the UMB softball field. Tully off the end of the bat, typical play for Sanchez, scoops up the short hop and makes the play. What a play from Marissa Sanchez. Not an easy one at that, and she gets Tully by a step. Sanchez was really forced with how softly that ball was hit to come in and try to catch it in the air, and then it took a nice short hop right into the glove for a big first out as it brings Lauren Mitziaris, who started that last half hitting for the Beacons, with a hard hit single off the glove of Holy for a single. She then came in to score on a wild pitch to Giovanna Bonilla. 0-1 to Mitziaris. She takes that pitch. Another one on the inside half, 0-2. Bernie has struck out 2. Has been the victim of some poor fielding. 3 errors in that 4-run second. 0-2 pitch to Mitziaris, forced to swing, pops it up to the second baseman, Krovo, and that's a quick 2 outs to start the third. Exactly what Salem State and 11th year head coach Leanne Doviak would like, as they try to get the bats back out there. Salem is gone 9 up, 9 down thus far with just 1 hit and a runner thrown out. Kayla Harris, who made the great play to end the last half inning, hits it off the end of the bat, and that ball slowed down by Krovo. Can't get there. That's got to be an infield hit. Krovo made a great effort, but just couldn't quite get it over. And Harris has reached twice, put down a sacrifice bunt, and reached on a throwing error. Came in to score on a throwing error by the catcher on the wild pitch that scored Mitziaris. And now she's got an infield single to improve her batting average on the year to 4 for 9. Brings up Giovanna Bonilla, who struck out swinging on a pitch in the dirt. First time up. Bonilla hits that one off the end of the bat, and it's going to fall in foul territory for strike 1. Giovanna out of Archbishop Malloy High School, Catholic High School Athletic Association second team member for the past 2 years. Won the city and state title at Archbishop Malloy. As Harris takes off the throw down to first. It's close, and they got her. Harris too far off the bag, and it's a great 2-3 pickoff as the Beacons go down 1-2-3 in the third. Give Ivy Benaldi the credit on that one. We head to the fourth. UMass Boston leads 3-0. We'll take a look around the rest of the conference after this short audio break.
Bottom of the third inning, there were 0 runs, 1 Beacon hit, 0 Vikings errors, and no one left on base. Coming up in
Quiet Thursday when it comes to Little East Conference teams. Southern Maine and Eastern Connecticut State, the only other teams playing today with conference games on Saturday. Southern Maine leads their main opponent. That's Husson University 3-0 through the first 4 innings. The Beacons will head up to Southern Maine on Tuesday for a big conference doubleheader against the Southern Maine team that's been very good the past couple years. Eastern Connecticut State at Salve Regina set for a 4 p.m. start. Be the leadoff hitter, Jen Krovo, to be followed by Marissa Sanchez and Chloe Manusis. Krovo, 24 of 25 on the base pass. She popped up a bunt her first time up to Greenspan. The Beacons really want to get these first 2 hitters. Krovo and Sanchez both put down bunts their first time up. Sanchez reaching with a bunt single. 0-1 here to Krovo. Takes the full cut, fouls that one off the top of the Clark Athletic Center brick behind us, and it's 0-2 to the leadoff hitter. And second baseman out of Melrose, Mass. Attended Bishop Fenwick High School. 0-2 pitch ripped. Morse makes the catch on the short hop, gets up. The throw is in time. Another great defensive effort from the Beacons. Morse laying out with her full frame to get there and then able to get up in time and fire it over to Mitziaris. It's probably the third highlight reel play the Beacons have made defensively through the first 10 batters. Great diving catches from Pressmack and Harris, and that was a good one from Morse to avoid putting Crovo on. Brings up Sanchez, who bunted for a single her first time up. Put a bunt down on the third base side that Greenspan fielded but couldn't quite get it over there in time, and it went off the glove of Morse to break up any chance of getting the former Rookie of the Year in the Massachusetts State Collegiate Athletic Conference, which has to be one of the longest names in all of college sports. 1-1 to Sanchez, the junior shortstop out of Framingham, Mass. Takes it inside, 2-1. Two-time all-conference player. He's very smart, a biomedical science major. He's played in every game this year. Second on the team in steals and runs scored. She's one pitch away from reaching. She was caught stealing in the first inning by a lot, to be quite honest. Didn't even bother sliding into second base. She was the third out of the inning. 3-1 pitch to her. Takes it all the way, and that one is on the outside corner. Sanchez a little bit frustrated by it, but she steps back into the box. Marissa last year hit .306, but just 4 stolen base attempts. Went 4 for 4. Hits it softly. That was going to be a difficult play for Braga to throw across, and it is not in time. Another difficult play. If that ball gets by the pitcher hit that slowly, Sanchez is most likely going to reach. It was a half-hearted check swing, but it gets the job done. And she's aboard for the second time. Only player to reach thus far against Jess Greenspan. Brings up Chloe Manusis, who flew out to right on a great diving effort from Pressmack back in the first inning. Rather, that was just a fly out to normal right. Pressmack robbed Jess Raymond. Raczowski fakes the throw down to first base after a first pitch ball. Manusis out of Lowell, Mass. Fouls that one back to the stop. As a freshman hit .333 with a .407 slugging percentage, 27 of 81, 8 runs scored, 10 RBI, 3 doubles, and an 0 for 2 mark on the base pass. This year she's 4 for 4. Everybody on this team is taking steps forward when it comes to stealing bases. Swung on and missed. Sanchez looked like she was going, heads back, and it's 1-2. So Sanchez still over there at first after the softly hit single through to Braga, the shortstop. After Greenspan and Tully couldn't get there. 1-2 runner takes off, heads back, and it's strike 3. Greenspan's second strikeout, her first looking, and there's 2 down for Sam Holy, who has stepped up to the plate in all 3 innings. She was stuck standing there in the first after Sanchez was thrown out. Popped up to first, right down the first base line. Made contact with Mitziaris to lead off the second. Holy pops it up. She's committed 2 of the team's 3 errors. A pair of throwing errors in that big 4-run second inning. Maybe trying to redeem herself in one swing there, as it was a huge cut from the sophomore third baseman out of Lynn English. 0-1 hits it harder. This one out to center, coming in on his Bonilla, and Sanchez is left out there. The Beacons retire Salem State, and it's 5-0 heading to the bottom of the 4th. Ilish Bernie finishes up her warm-up throws, and we'll have 8-9-1 for UMass Boston as Giovanna Bonilla, who struck out swinging back in the second and was at the plate to end the third when Kayla Harris was picked off, takes her third trip to the plate, but just potentially her second official plate appearance. She'll be followed by the 9-0 hitter Gigi Braga, who had an infield single, and then the top of the order, Kira Pressmack, to hit for the third time in 4 innings. First pitch to Bonilla. Takes it low and inside, 1-0 to the Beacons. Freshman center fielder who's played all 3 outfield spots this year. Bonilla is a master magician. She takes that pitch and fouls it back. The day before the season started, all the team huddled up at one of the 3 houses they rented down in Florida and were showing off their individual talents. And Bonilla is very good with card tricks, like stunningly good. It's the 1-1 to Bonilla's hit hard up the middle, and that one is her 3rd hit of her collegiate career. So maybe we'll talk about the magic tricks a little bit more as Bonilla able to smash the ball right back up the middle, and the Beacons have a leadoff base runner for the second time in 4 innings. Bring up Braga, who singled to the third baseman. Soft little chopper that Holy couldn't do much with. She shows Bun a great one. The catcher quickly picks it up, and the throw down to first base in time, and then they have Bonilla caught in a pickle. Bonilla heads back towards second base. Holy fakes the throw and tags her out, and the Beacons hit into a double play as Bonilla too aggressive going around second base. Bonilla goes down hard, and she seems to be a bit shaken up. Braga puts down the sack bunt. It goes down as a 2-3, and then on the putout over there at second base, that'll go as a 2-3-6-5 as Bonilla's retired. The Beacons, for the second consecutive inning, run into an out. So 2 outs, no one on. And Kira Pressmack steps up with the Beacons trying to avoid not getting a 4th hitter to the plate for a second consecutive inning. They have had hits in all 4 innings, but running into outs each of the last 2. Pressmack takes it low, 1-0. It's a really nice play by the first baseman, Del Vecchio. Immediately picking her head up, seeing that Bonilla was off the bag, and then a strong throw to get Bonilla caught between the 2. Swing and miss from Pressmack. It's 1-1 to the freshman right fielder, who's 1 for 2 today. She struck out swinging the first, a softly hit single back in the second, and she came in to score on the 2-run single from Vento. That's a difficult play for Sanchez. Picks it up, the throw across, in and out of the glove, and that's going to be a throwing error on Sanchez as Pressmack reaches. Throw was up the line towards Pressmack, and Pressmack aboard for the second time today. Already the 4th error on the Vikings. Sanchez picked it up, and her throw was there in time, just brought her first baseman Del Vecchio towards Pressmack, and Del Vecchio couldn't hold on. Caitlin Morse has reached twice, scored twice, as Pressmack dives in plenty of time. Benaldi almost had to throw that ball over the head of Morse, so couldn't get a ton behind it. Morse had a double and scored in the first, and then reached on a fielder's choice, hit the ball over to the third baseman, and was almost thrown out on a double play, but instead the bouncing ball allowed her to reach. Stole second and came in on Vento's double. Pressmack takes off. The throw is there, and it's in time. Pressmack thought she got behind the tag. Instead, Sanchez able to get her, and the Beacons run into a pair of outs here in the 4th as Josh Bartley, the Beacons' third base coach, wants to have a conversation between the 2 umpires, just hoping that maybe the home plate umpire saw something different. Pretty difficult to see from her angle. Home plate umpire is Amy Gattani. Sherman Rotting on the bases. They'll have a brief conversation, just chat it up, and they're going to keep Pressmack as out. The second assist for Benaldi on a Beacons base runner. She has a pickoff and a caught stealing, and that'll keep the score at 5-0 through 4 as we'll take a look around Beaconville after this short pause. We are through 4 innings in less than 45 minutes. That is the kind of pace that I love, and I hope I didn't jinx it, as this game has been flying by. We talk about the other games going on in Beaconville. The baseball team looking for their second straight win, third on the week, takes on St. Joseph's College of Maine, ranked in the top 25 in both major D3 national polls. That game set to start at 4. Men's tennis hosts Western Connecticut State in a big matchup on Saturday at 1, and the lacrosse team will be home as well. You can catch the Beacons broadcast network of that game at 3 on Saturdays. The Beacons take on Gordy Webb and Plymouth State University. 5, 6, 7 for Salem State here in the 5th. They have just 2 hits, both from Marissa Sanchez. So the Vikings look to get something going against the Beacons freshman pitcher Jess Greenspan. Greenspan's first pitch catches the outside corner to the lefty, 0-1. Raymond slapped a hard ball into right center that Kira Pressmack was able to run in and make a diving effort to get the first out of the second out of the second. Hit right back to Greenspan, who fields her position well. And it's a 1-3 putout to start the 5th. Bring up the designated player, Molly McLean, who popped up to second to end the second.
Designated player, number 4, Molly McLean.
McLean, when she's in the lineup this year, the team is 11-4, has played in just 15 games. Takes that pitch outside, 1-0. McLean yesterday in Game 2 versus Gordon got into the lineup, 1 for 3 with an RBI single as part of a 6-0 Game 2 win, snapping a 3-game losing streak for the Vikings, including a 7-6 loss in game number 1. They fell behind 6-0 in the first inning. Dominique Del Vecchio, the first baseman, got the start, left before she could get 3 outs, gave up 5 runs as the ball is hit softly down the third base line, and the count runs to 1-2. In came what we assume is game number 2 starter, Megan Black. Let me double check that. It was Megan Black who came in and threw the final 6 2/3, got 9 hits, 1 earned. That one's on the outside corner. McLean can't believe it, and it's the 3rd strikeout for Greenspan in as many innings and 3rd of the game.
Catcher number 18, Ivy Benaldi.
So we expect to see Megan Black in game number 2. Ilish Birney had a great game number 2 yesterday. 7 innings, 7 hits, 1 walk through the shutout against Gordon College and Alumni Field in Salem, Mass. 0-1 here to Ivy Benaldi, who bunted the first pitch back to the stop. She grounded out softly to the first baseman Mitzi Aris to start the 3rd. Inside out swing 0-2 to the lefty Slappy. She's the lefty slapper. She's the 7-hole hitter, batting for just the 2nd time here in the 5th. Greenspan has faced 1 over the minimum. She has thrown a no-hitter this year, a 5-inning no-hitter in which she didn't throw a shutout. The Beacons gave up an unearned run in the top of the 1st against Lancaster Bible College, and she shut them down from there. In a big victory for UMass Boston down in Florida. The final score in that one, 9-1. Got plenty of run support. And in just her 2nd collegiate appearance through the Beacons' first no-hitter in a couple years. Popped up, foul, going after it. It's Miss Yaris, and she can't get there. It'll stay at 1-2. Greenspan in her first 4 2/3 has struck out 3. She's got a lot of balls up in the air. She's had 3 balls popped up and 4 balls flied out to her outfield. 2-2 now to Benaldi. Made a throwing error back in the second, and she fouls that one right at me. And fortunately, there's some pretty strong chain link fencing right in front of our press tent here at the UMB softball field. Otherwise, wouldn't have a broadcaster right now. 2-2, chop back over Greenspan. Morse comes in, makes the throw, and Benaldi's retired 4-3, and Salem State is as well. We head to the bottom of the fifth. Greenspan is rolling. See if the Beacons can add on some extra insurance runs. It'll be 2-3-4 for UMass Boston to start the bottom of the fifth. Morse, Vento, Raczowski for UMass Boston, a pair of Arlington High School products, the Sky Ponders, named after the famous Sky Pond in town. Followed by Gia Raczowski's the Beacons with 3 runs in this half inning. Could potentially end this game in under an hour. Remember the Mercy Rule, 8-run lead or more after 5 innings. The Beacons lead 5-0 heading into the bottom of the fifth. They bring the heart of the order. Morse has reached twice, scored twice. Vento has a 2-run single. And Raczowski has an RBI single of her own. Morse doubled down the right field line and scored in the first on Raczowski's RBI single. Reached on a fielder's choice in the second, stole a bag, and scored on Vento's 2-run single. Shows the California bunt, gets it down, but goes foul. That would have been a single otherwise, as the entire infield a little slow to react as Morse went behind the back and then threw it out. It's basically a bunt, but you sometimes can catch the infield unawares as the flare and the flash of the California bunt just kind of wows them a bit if it's the first time you've seen it. 0-1 to Morse, takes it low. Caitlin is one of the few players that I've seen successfully being able to pull it off. Had a Beacon the other day try to pull it off. I think it was Gigi Braga who couldn't put the ball in play. 1-1 to the Beacon senior captain, who's closing in on a few program records. Rips that ball past the shortstop Sanchez, and that could be extra bases. Morse turns, the throw from Raymond. It's going to be close. The tag is not in time. Caitlin Morse, her second double of the game, and she's in scoring position in front of the Beacon's top 2 hitters. Morse going hard the whole way. That ball was actually hit so hard it actually hurt her a little bit. So Raymond was able to get there faster. And Raymond a little bit surprised as the throw beat Morse, but her slide able to potentially get there in front. And now there's a conversation as Crovo appears to be injured. The slide might have gone right into her left cleat. And she is wincing in pain as thought Leanne Doviak was coming out potentially about to call, but instead just checking on her second baseman. Morse has a double to right, a double to left center. 2 for 2 on the day for the Beacon senior, who was the only starter coming into today's game hitting under 300. Morse has gone up over the past couple of games. She was hitting as low as about 240. She's up to 261 coming in, and she's now 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. Already 25 runs. We'll see if Vento can potentially drive her in. And there's a little symmetry. Morse with 25 runs on the base pass. Vento with 25 RBI in the batter's box. 1-0 to the Beacons sophomore DP and reigning Little East Conference Rookie of the Year. Fouls it off 1-1. Here are some of the numbers on Vento. She leads the conference in average and on-base percentage, 474 and 527. Fourth in slugging percentage at 667. Tied for second in hits with 37. Second in doubles with 13. And third in RBI with 23. As she waits on that one and Holy makes the play. Morse did a nice job to react to the slowly hit line drive. Gets back into the bag as Salem State gets the first out of the fifth. So after all that, Vento unable to come through, but she has had a phenomenal season. 1 for 3 today. She's now 38 of 81. Brings up Raczowski. 1 for 2 with an RBI single in the first. Popped up to the shortstop, Sanchez. Both of her hits have been pop-ups. We'll see if she can better time this Illish Bernie pitch. Takes a fastball on the inside corner. And Ivy Benaldi chases Morse back to the second base bag. The Beacons scored 1 in the first, 4 more in the second thanks to 3 errors. They've been held scoreless over the past 2 frames. Runner on second is Morse after a leadoff double. Raczowski chops it off of herself, and the count runs to 0-2 to the Beacons. Senior catcher who's done a good job limiting the base running for Salem State. Now, granted, there's only been 2 base runners, but she threw out Marissa Sanchez in the first, and Sanchez, who reached on an infield single the fourth, did not take off in the 4th inning, maybe respecting Raczowski a bit. Takes that one high, 1-2. Raczowski bent down and made that pitch appear a little bit higher than it might have been. Don't think it was a strike, but it also maybe looked a little worse because of Raczowski bending down, and she fouls that one down the third base line. G is a batter who sees a ton of pitches. She's very good with 2 strikes, fouling off a lot of pitches, extending it back. She has 12 walks on the year, 14 strikeouts, both towards the top of the conference. 19 runs scored and 20 RBI. 1-2, Raczowski waits on it and fouls that one deep down the line over the head of the Salem State pitcher who's warming up. And that one, again, there's that state trooper we talked about earlier on in the game who was driving behind the backstop, just nearly had their car tattooed. Raczowski missed it by about a foot. 1-2 to the Beacons. Senior out of Stoneham, and she takes that pitch, chops it foul, will do it again. This is what Raczowski does. Fouls off enough pitches to get one she likes. Already in this at-bat, she's seen 6 pitches. There's just been 1 ball thrown. Morse out there at second base, hoping to get a chance to score her 3rd run of the game already. 5-0 Beacons lead in the 5th. Raczowski lines it through Sanchez. Morse had to dive back, but it's going to be a run-scoring double. And Raczowski, unless she takes 3rd, just set the program record for doubles here at UMass Boston. Her 38th career double breaks a tie with Sue Killalay. Her 2nd extra base hit in the past 10, and it's 6-0 UMass Boston on the record-breaking double.
Third baseman number 14, Alyssa Tully.
The Beacons need 2 more runs in this half inning to potentially earn the Mercy Rule victory. Raczowski out there at second, hit softly to Holy, only plays the first. A laser over there at first to get Tully, who's now 0 for 3 with 3 infield groundouts. Raczowski moves up to third for Lauren Mitziaris. Mitziaris, a single off the glove of the third baseman, a hard line drive in the first, came in to score, and she's got an RBI single there, bounces past Sanchez, and now the left fielder lets it get by her. Mitziaris will take second, good cover from Jess Raymond, but the 5th error of the game allows Mitziaris to move into scoring position. Kayla Harris can do something right here. The Beacons could win it. They already lead 7-0. And the error on April Adams out there in left, as we'll see a pinch runner, Angelina Avitable, will check in for Lauren Mitziaris. Avitable Beacon's third catcher, a freshman out of Holbrook, Mass., making just her third appearance. She pinch ran against Eastern Connecticut State in Game 1 a couple of weeks ago, and now sees time here in Game number 1 against Salem State. She is the potential game-ending run. Brings up Kayla Harris. Reached on a throwing error and a sac bunt and scored in the second, and then had a strong hit single, actually a softly hit single that the second baseman Krovo was able to get to, but couldn't pick up in time. She's 4 for 8 on the season with 2 RBI. Has a chance to end it right here. 0-1 to Harris, who was the starting left fielder 2 years ago. Hits it through the left side. We'll see if they send Avatable. And again, the left fielder drops it. Avatable heading home. The throw to second, and the Beacons win. UMass Boston extends it to 8-0. And that should be the Mercy Roll victory. Josh Bartley coming over to talk. And that should do it. Another error, 2 consecutive errors from April Adams put the runner at second base, Mitziaris, and then allows Avatable to move up to score as Avatable had stopped at third, and then it's just going to go down as a single with another error, and that, I believe, was the 6th error of the game.
Record of current assistant coach
UMass Boston, the winner in Game 1. This game started a little bit early, so it's not quite an hour, but maybe an hour and 5 minutes. Easily the fastest game. We had a 2.5-hour, 9-inning game on Tuesday. This one ends before we hit 4 o'clock on the East Coast. UMass Boston rolling in this first game. A lot of errors from the Vikings. They'll look to work on that in Game 2. 6 total errors. The Beacons got 1 in the first, 4 in the second, 3 more here in the fifth, thanks to a pair of errors from April Adams. Right now we're going to take a break in between games as UMass Boston. Well, take a look at our production crew first. My name is Seth Dorensky, your producer and play-by-play guy. It was actually Sarah Alenardo directing and Ari Rivera on camera. We mixed that up a little bit. People putting on different hats for Game number 1. The winner in Game 1, it's Jess Greenspan, who, talking about program records, just set the single-season record for wins in a season with their 14th. A lot of records going on in the last couple of minutes. And UMass Boston wins 8-0. We'll have Game 2 for you starting at 4:30 here on the East Coast.